This is the beginning of, I guess, official beginning of my journey up north. Arctic Circle, let's go. Why is it that when a woman does something, almost anything really, is such a big deal? A comment I received caught my attention in the middle of my solo journey to the Arctic. All the long drive allowed me clear headspace to dwell on this question. Perhaps I could tell you a thing or two as a female living on the road. But just want to show you guys how I find my trails, because I often get this question asked, where do I find places to go? And I use that in combination with GPS. That was cool. It's raining today. It's supposed to be raining the whole day, and really starting to get cold now. This hat helped me survive every night, and I have to heat my blanket before going to bed, and right now while I'm getting up. At least I didn't have to use it all night. Winter's coming quick up here. Sometimes in the morning, if it's very early, I don't really feel specifically hungry and don't really want to eat, but still want to get my protein in, I'll just make a protein shake. I have to write it on the smaller bottle because the ones I bought at home are all huge 1 pound giant tub. This is actually a BCAA bottle. I just have to label it to make sure it's, whey protein isolate. I could just use a blender like every time coming back from a workout, but just to make it a little more flavorful, interesting, because this is just vanilla flavor, sometimes can be quite bland. I recently just got this blender, portable blender. It's got a built-in battery from Legal. Crushes ice, no problem, but it's pretty cold right now and I don't really want an icy drink, but if you want to make a smoothie, no problem with this. All the pots can separate, so it's really easy to clean. Actually, just for ease of access, I prefer to pour it this way. It's got a marker on the side so you can kind of gauge how much you want. Since I'm upside down, I'm just going to guess. My suspicious little white unknown powder written in red text that is protein powder. Can you trust it? 3 tiny scoops of BCAA scoops. It's roughly around 1 big scoop that I have, so around 20 grams of protein. I am actually a sports nutrition specialist I do have my personal trainer cert renewed every 2 years, so I just know a little bit, but definitely not prescribing you anything. Just to make it a little bit more flavorful, I'm going to pop in some raspberry. Press it twice. You know what would be cool? If I have a freezer, freeze some frozen berries, then it's going to give it more of a slushy kind of taste. And obviously you can freeze your own ice. My favorite recipe though, hear this out. Freeze some banana and then blend that with your choice of milk. I use almond milk, and then you have a healthy version of milkshake. Natural sugar, sweetened by banana. You can blend it with peanut butter, so it's a peanut butter milkshake. Blend it with cocoa powder, so it's a chocolate milkshake. Blend it with Oreo, so it's cookies and cream, and strawberry milkshake. You get the idea. Just be a little healthier on the road. Comes with this bottom lid. And you've got yourself your drink. Just go wherever you go. A little nice rubber handle too. The only thing I don't really like about this is you have to charge it through their own sort of magnetic charger connector. If they use USB-C or micro USB, I can just interchange it with all of my other cables. I don't know if it's good to do so, but at least there's one less cable I have to carry, and if I lose this, I won't be able to charge it. It's like sort of they brand their own thing, but I think the reason they do it is just so that the unit is fully waterproof. I won't pop it in a dishwasher though, but yeah, it's like seamless on here. It's just magnetic. Perhaps I could use this slow day to talk about a thought that's been on my mind. Last night I wrote a lot of pages on my journal, just thoughts flowing through. Actually, because of this one comment that I received. The title of this video suggests, what's the deal? What's the big deal about girls camping out there alone, going on solo journeys? The short answer is, there's no big deal. There's nothing special about it. So I'll actually just read you out the comment that sparked all of my thoughts. I have a question. Please don't cancel me if I'm asking the wrong question. Why is it that when a woman does something, almost anything really, why is it important that we all know it's a woman doing it? Is sleeping in your car by yourself really that hard to do? So hard that when a woman does it, that info has to be included in the title. I can't imagine sleeping in your car by yourself is exclusively a male thing. Should I really be impressed that a woman rode a bike, climbed a hill, slept in her car, crossed the street, read a book, cooked a meal, carried her grocery, wiped her ass, all by herself? Can someone tell me what's the big deal? I was actually on a taxi from Edmonton Airport to pick up my car at the time, so I wasn't really, I guess, giving much thought into it. I just joked that I have no idea, but I wish algorithm can have an answer for that, because, well, for some reason, that keyword does get me a certain level of views or clicks. But with that, which isn't wrong, it makes you think that why the algorithm think that it's popular? It's because sort of a societal belief that something's special about it. However, after I commented that, I put my phone away, I started to think, I'm actually really, really glad someone said things like this or questioned things like this. And for this person specifically, if you have a daughter, I'm sure she will grow up very strong, independent, and free of all the social stereotypes of what girls should and shouldn't do. I'm really glad that you are questioning all of this, because unfortunately, the society as a whole, for generations already, do have a certain belief, or we are taught, we are brought up with rules, unspoken and spoken rules, of what to do, what not to do. Grew up under the expectation of being ladylike. For instance, be reserved, be cautious, be submissive, be agreeable, be thin, don't be too loud, don't be too directive, don't be too demanding, don't be a bitch. Maybe don't be too strong or too independent because you'll scare men away. Because in the end, all we're good for is to eventually get a guy, get married, be a mom, and get your life taken care of. Every culture has a version of this. Some are stricter than others, and my Oriental heritage, unfortunately, has a huge dent in this. All of the above can quickly explains why you so rarely see women being out there on trips by themselves, remote, extended trips, and even more rare to see Asian women. That's not to deny the actual physical difference between male and female. Physical, biological, you could say. Just take a very simple example for doing business out there. It's way easier for men, I would say. You can literally just turn around and unzip your pants and let it go. I've seen when we were following convoy, the car in front of us, the driver just jumped out of the car, left the door open, and opened the rear door, so it kind of creates a little stall for him, and he just did it right there beside his car. And me and Julia was in the car, we're just like, man, that is so unfair. For women, for us, we will have to go on an expedition on foot, through the trees, through the muskeg, crossing rivers, behind some sort of hills, and still turn around, glance around, making sure we're in a fully safe area, free of any human eyesight, because we're about to become very vulnerable, butt naked, out in the wild. So that's sort of a daily thing, and there's also a monthly thing. I don't know if it's gonna get too much for this topic, but it's something you can't deny. It does happen, you know, and so how do you walk around it? How do you deal with it when you're out there and on extended trips? Or do you only plan trips around it and try to time when you don't have that problem, which limits your availability to not that much? And what if the days are really nice and you physically can't go? And that's why most of us do prefer, I guess, the cozy of a home. A proper toilet seat is way more welcoming than, you know, trying to find a bush hide. Myself included. Before, years ago, I was quite against camping. I don't know why. I kept making excuses that I want to sleep on a proper bed, I want to have a proper shower, and what about, you know, going to washroom sort of things. Though, I do want to praise some of the girls' tradition, where we were educated, where we were brought up with the belief, the culture, that actually make us better campers. You see, traditionally, we are homemakers, and the biggest task at home is probably just organizing and cooking. So we tend to, at least for myself speaking, pack really neatly, and I've almost never eat dehydrated camp food. You see, I'm generalizing too. I do know girls that have messy rooms and don't cook, but since we're talking about stereotypes, you get the idea. Most of us will think, oh, how come you don't cook? You're a girl. How come your room is so freaking messy? But we do exist. Different versions of us. We're all just individual people. Okay, now the rain's really coming down now. Physical factors aside, there's also emotional or psychological factors. We are universally recognized as more emotional creatures. Sure, that once in a month thing probably intensifies it thousands-fold. I can't say I'm free from it. In fact, I've been bombarded by a sense of longing. Being on the road alone is tough. Doing everything by yourself. Sure, it makes me feel strong and unstoppable at times, but there's always moments when I wish to just be in someone's arms. This is not to say men don't have emotion, but society often tells men to toughen up, don't show emotion, or you're seen as weak. Luckily, this toxic masculinity has been receiving some attention and criticism lately, but it is without a doubt going to take a long time for any visible change to appear. For now, we're basically stuck with a bunch of tough guys with no fear, or at least they try to appear so. A very cool colors in fall. It's yellow, red, brown, green. I still remember when my lash tag told me her 6-year-old daughter, when she saw what I do, she asked, "Do girls do that?" It still struck me to this day because at 6 years old, she already has an idea of what girls do and don't, and what boys do and don't. Otherwise, she wouldn't be asking questions like that. And my answer is, yes, humans do that. We go out, explore, have a good time adventuring. If you want to do something, go try to find out how to do it and what are the steps to get you there, instead of thinking right away, is this something girls do? If it's humanly possible, you can do it too. It may not be easy, but if your will is strong enough, I'm sure you'll find a way to achieve. And if you're really stuck, don't hesitate to ask. Ask the men how they did it. Put gender aside, or better yet, ask the women that has done it. There's actually quite a few of them out there, and I'm sure they're happy to see that you're trying to do something for yourself, and it will be a pleasure for them to help. Well, I hope you can find courage through my travel and gain related knowledge to navigate yourself on the road. Yes, girls do it too. And it's not that big of a deal, honestly. Windmill. Can you see windmill in the distance? I'd like to bring up again the notion of staying open to changes on the road. My original plan was to drive up along the coast through Cassia Highway. Consider I am now over 1,000 clicks away at the boundary of Alberta. Why not alter my route to Dawson Creek, the kickoff point for a drive up the Alaska Highway? This major highway was constructed through virtually unexplored wilderness during World War II. It opened a huge and fascinating territory up north. So, the ending of this episode marks the beginning of an epic journey north. Sure, I've been slowly venturing my way up, but nothing is more significant than the historic Mile Zero of the Alaska Highway. This is the beginning of, I guess, official beginning of my journey up north. Arctic Circle, let's go. At 1,800 meters in altitude, it's really starting to get cold. And do you see this? We got snow up here already. To be honest, I am shitting my pants right now. Where you're thinking about things and you see clouds in a heart shape. And if you really want to know my solution for the two main issues mentioned above, one, I got an IUD to totally get rid of the monthly thing, and second, I go out alone so I don't have to. Nobody sees me doing my business right beside my car.